For several decades, Carol Burnett stepped on stages and appeared on screens, entertaining her fans in the most unique and interesting ways. There is no denying that she was born to be an entertainer. However, behind the years of laughter was a woman who battled personal demons and fought to build a successful career. From her struggles with self-image to almost getting shot, here are some little-known facts about Carol Burnett. Early years and an imaginary twin. There is something creatively freeing about watching Carol Burnett perform. She has a magical way of transporting her viewers to a different world and filling their mouths with laughter. Interestingly, Burnett has been this way right from her early years, from her days of tricking her housemates to making hilarious faces, and even doing things that some may consider strange. She has always been a comedian and a talented performer. Burnett was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, where she spent her early years surrounded by family. Her father worked as a movie theater manager, and her mother worked as a publicity writer for movie studios. Her childhood was pretty normal until her parents' marriage crashed in the late 1930s. After her parents got separated, her family moved to Hollywood, and she went to live with her grandmother in a low-class neighborhood around Hollywood in a boarding house. It was during this period that she grew closer to her grandmother, who loved her to bits. Interestingly, her grandmother was one of the first people to introduce her to movies, as she took Burnett and her sister to movie theaters often. As Burnett grew older, her imagination began to run wild. She was the kind of child who would dance and sing around her home, but soon enough, her imagination began to manifest in other ways. In second grade, she did something that some would consider strange, but to her, it was just fun. She created an imaginary twin sister named Karen and told some of the other boarders about her. To make it even more believable, she would often frantically change her clothes, dashing in and out of the house by the fire escape and front door. Although she was playing around, her wild imagination became the very thing that enabled her to create without limits in the industry. Burnett has always been a star with creative ideas that left people in awe. Sadly, as she got older, she became more conscious about her looks and began to feel like she wasn't beautiful. Her biggest insecurity. Although Burnett grew up to become a very confident woman who inspired several other women, she didn't always feel confident. Unfortunately, her mother fueled her insecurities by making statements that suggested that Burnett was not good-looking. As Carol got older, she found herself gravitating towards acting. As a teenager, she developed a deep interest in acting and began to express this to her mother, hoping she would support her. Sadly, her mother didn't give her the response she expected. Instead, she dissuaded her daughter from acting and told her to pursue another passion that wouldn't require her to show her face. Remembering that phase of her life several years later, Burnett said, "She wanted me to be a writer. She said, 'You can always write, no matter what you look like.' When I was growing up, she told me to be a little lady, and a couple of times I got a whack for crossing my eyes or making funny faces. Of course, I never dreamed I would ever perform." Because the one person who was supposed to push her to accomplish her dreams of becoming an actor didn't think she could do it, Burnett began to slowly give up on the idea of being a big-shot actress. Her mother's words echoed in her mind every time she thought of a career on stage and on screens. As a result of her insecurities, she became a bit shy and reserved. In her 1986 memoir, she revealed how her mother's words hurt her and made her even more insecure about her looks. Although she eventually mustered the courage to become an actress, she initially decided that she was going to study something entirely different from acting in college. She initially wanted to become a journalist. Carol spent decades of her life entertaining fans all over the world, and everyone who loved her was glad that she chose to be an actress. But what her fans didn't know was that she almost chose a completely different career path. There was a time in her life when her insecurities weighed so heavily that she decided to take a different career path. Although she loved acting, she didn't think she had star potential. Burnett initially planned to study journalism. If she took that path, she would not be a renowned actress today. Although she was highly interested in theater, she had a lot of insecurities and self-doubt that made her believe she would not be a great performer. But something happened that changed the trajectory of her life. After graduating from Hollywood High School, Burnett allegedly received a gift of a certain amount of money for 1 year's tuition at UCLA. With this support, she embarked on her academic journey with the intention of studying journalism. Yet, fate had other plans in store for her. During her first year of college, she began to lose interest in journalism, so she made a significant decision to switch her focus to theater arts and English, driven by a desire to become a playwright. If she couldn't perform, she believed that she could work in the industry, behind the scenes. However, her path took an unexpected turn when she found herself required to take an acting course to enter the playwright program. This was the period that revealed her innate desires. Despite her reservations, she plunged into the world of acting, feeling as though she had no choice. It was during one of her earliest performances that Burnett experienced a transformative moment. She began to feel a sudden need to deliver her lines boldly and differently, stretching out her words with theatrical flair. To her greatest surprise, the audience responded well. Their response was electric. They laughed, and Burnett felt an overwhelming warmth enveloping her. Looking back on that pivotal moment, she said, "They laughed and it felt great. All of a sudden, after so much coldness and emptiness in my life, I knew the sensation of all that warmth wrapping around me. I had always been a quiet, shy, sad sort of girl, and then everything changed for me. You spend the rest of your life hoping you'll hear a laugh that great again." In that moment, amidst the laughter and applause, Burnett's self-doubt melted away, replaced by a newfound confidence and clarity about her path. She realized that performing brought her a sense of joy and fulfillment unlike anything she had ever experienced before. From that day forward, Burnett threw herself into theater wholeheartedly, participating in numerous university productions where her comedic and musical talents shone brightly. Despite her initial reservations and insecurities, she found herself thriving on stage, captivating audiences with her wit and charm. Had Burnett remained on her original path of studying journalism, she may never have discovered her true passion for acting. It was through taking a chance and embracing the unexpected that she found her calling and went on to become one of the most beloved entertainers of her time. The donation that changed her life. It's important to note that Carol Burnett's rise to stardom is not just one of talent and determination, but also of a kind gesture that changed the trajectory of her life. While many know her as the iconic comedian and actress of Hollywood, her journey to success began with a momentous donation that allowed her to pursue her dreams. She experienced something that very few people get to experience in their lifetime. As Burnett neared graduation from UCLA, she, like many aspiring performers, faced the daunting reality of trying to break into the competitive world of theater. She had the dream, but she didn't have the resources to back it up. It was at a departing professor's bon voyage party that she was offered a golden opportunity. On that day, she was invited to perform alongside her fellow drama students, and she came prepared. Burnett showcased her talent with a scene from the beloved musical, Annie, Get Your Gun. Little did she know, this performance would mark a turning point in her life. Standing in the buffet line later that evening, Burnett was approached by a stranger, a man she had never seen before. He offered her not just a compliment on her performance, but also a lifeline to her dreams. Learning of her aspirations to pursue a career on the stage in New York, he made a remarkable offer. $1,000 to help her get started, with 3 simple conditions. First, she was to repay the loan without interest within 5 years. Second, she was never to reveal his identity. And finally, once she achieved success, she was to pay forward this act of kindness by helping another aspiring talent in need. It was a proposition filled with both generosity and mystery, leaving Burnett to weigh the risks and rewards of accepting such an offer from a stranger. When she told her mother and grandmother about his offer, they dissuaded her and warned her to stay away from the strange man. They believed that he was planning to deceive, and they even believed he may be luring Burnett to harm her. After careful consideration and consultation with her family, Burnett made the courageous decision to accept the stranger's check. Despite the concerns voiced by her mother and grandmother, who feared the worst about the mysterious benefactor, Burnett trusted her instincts and seized the opportunity that lay before her. With the support of this generous donation, Burnett and her friend, Soroyan, made the bold move to New York to pursue their acting careers. It was a leap of faith, fueled by the belief in her talent and the kindness of a stranger who saw potential in her. The years that followed were not without challenges. Tragically, Burnett faced the loss of her father to alcoholism, a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of seizing opportunities while they exist. Fueled by her determination and the support of those who believed in her, Burnett persevered. Ultimately, Burnett's talent and hard work paid off, leading her to achieve incredible success in the entertainment industry. From her groundbreaking variety show, The Carol Burnett Show, to her acclaimed performances on stage and screen, Burnett became a beloved icon whose influence continues to resonate to this day. But when she got famous and found herself amidst the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, Burnett never forgot the kindness that changed her life. True to her promise, she has paid forward the generosity she once received by helping aspiring talents pursue their artistic dreams. The donation that changed Carol Burnett's life was more than just a financial gift. It was a symbol of belief and support that propelled her toward her dreams. And in accepting that gift, Burnett not only found success, but was also inspired to help others who need help while pursuing their dreams. From fan to friend. Many people admired the work chemistry between Vicki Lawrence and Carol Burnett, but very few people knew how they became friends. Once upon a time, Vicki was just a fan who was obsessed with Burnett's performances. It all began when Lawrence, a high school senior sporting a short pixie cut, found herself inundated with comparisons to the legendary Carol Burnett. Encouraged by her stage mother, Lawrence took a bold step and penned a letter to Burnett. She didn't think Burnett would respond, but she wrote it anyway. She also added a photo and a newspaper clipping detailing her upcoming appearance in the Miss Fireball contest. Having Burnett there would have made her entire year. Little didn't she know that she was about to get the surprise of her life. To Lawrence's astonishment, Burnett, then 7 months pregnant, not only received her letter but also made a surprise appearance at the pageant to cheer her on. Lawrence was beyond elated, and this marked the beginning of their friendship. The fact that Burnett showed up spoke volumes about her warmth and genuine connection with her fans. This initial encounter laid the foundation for a bond that would transcend mere admiration, evolving into a lasting friendship. As fate would have it, when Burnett gave birth, Lawrence seized the opportunity to express her congratulations by bringing flowers to the hospital. Little did she know that this simple gesture would lead to a case of mistaken identity, with a nurse mistaking her for Burnett's real-life half-sister, Chrissy. This chance encounter further solidified Lawrence's connection to Burnett, setting the stage for a future collaboration that would change the course of her life. When the time came to cast The Carol Burnett Show, Burnett, ever mindful of the people who had touched her life, remembered the enthusiastic teenager who had captured her attention years earlier. Despite Lawrence's lack of experience, Burnett saw something special in her and offered her a role on the show, an opportunity that Lawrence seized with both hands. Initially cast in the recurring Carol and Sis sketch as Chrissy, Burnett's fictional younger sister, Lawrence found herself thrust into the spotlight alongside her idol. For Lawrence, working alongside Burnett was a dream come true. She almost got shot. Many people who have seen Carol Burnett do the Tarzan yell have wondered why she does it. And very few people know that she almost got shot as a result of this signature yell. Carol Burnett's iconic Tarzan yell, known to fans far and wide, was born out of childhood experimentation and later became a signature part of her persona. At the age of 9, Burnett stumbled upon this vocalization, mimicking the famous call of the Jungle King himself. Little did she know then that this playful imitation would weave its way into her professional life with such significance. The Tarzan yell was a practical exercise, honing her vocal abilities and strengthening her projection. Over the years, it became a cherished element of her comedic journey, delighting audiences and earning her a special place in the hearts of many. However, several years later, this same yell that brought joy and laughter would also lead to a rather alarming encounter for Burnett. On one fateful day while shopping at Bergdorf Goodman in New York City, Burnett found herself entangled in a scenario straight out of one of her own comedic sketches. While browsing for nylon stockings, Burnett was approached by a saleswoman who recognized her and requested an autograph for her grandchildren. Flattered by the attention, Burnett graciously obliged. When she was done and it was time to check out, Burnett realized she had left her credit card and driver's license behind, leaving her unable to complete the purchase. In a light-hearted attempt to resolve the situation, Burnett proposed writing a check instead. However, the saleswoman, who moments ago had eagerly sought her autograph, now insisted on seeing some form of identification. It was at this juncture that the absurdity of the situation reached its peak. The saleswoman told her to do the Tarzan yell as her means of identification, and she agreed. Little did she anticipate the repercussions of her impromptu decision. As Burnett let out the iconic cry, the scene escalated dramatically. A security guard, alerted by the unexpected noise, burst into the room, gun drawn, ready to confront what he perceived as a potential threat. Thankfully, he didn't shoot her, as he soon realized that she wasn't a treat. One can only imagine what would have happened if the security guard acted on impulse without fully assessing the situation. Her only career regret. The beloved queen of comedy graced television screens for over a decade with her iconic variety show, dazzling audiences with her wit and knack for bringing out the best in her guests. She was determined to do everything in her power to entertain her fans, but soon enough, she realized that there was one thing she couldn't make happen. Throughout its 11-season run, The Carol Burnett Show became synonymous with star-studded lineups and unforgettable moments. Yet, amidst the constellation of luminaries who graced her stage, there was one shining star that she was unable to bring to the show: Bette Davis. The mere mention of Bette Davis conjures images of Hollywood royalty, a woman whose talent illuminated the silver screen with an intensity matched only by her legendary persona. For Carol Burnett, securing Davis as a guest was not just a dream, it was a mission fueled by admiration and reverence for the iconic actress. Burnett, who had genuine affection for her guests, harbored a deep desire to share the stage with the incomparable Davis. Throughout the show's tenure, Burnett showcased an impressive array of guest stars, ranging from comedy giants like Steve Martin to Broadway legends like Ethel Merman. Each episode showed Burnett's ability to attract the creme de la creme of the entertainment industry, turning her variety show into a veritable who's who of Hollywood luminaries. Despite her determination to bring Davis onto her show, Burnett encountered a formidable obstacle: financial negotiations. Davis, ever the consummate professional, expressed her willingness to grace the stage of The Carol Burnett Show. However, her demand for a fee exceeding the show's budget posed a dilemma for Burnett and her husband, Joe Hamilton, who served as the show's producer. Hamilton, cognizant of the financial implications and wary of setting a precedent, advised against meeting Davis's demands. The decision weighed heavily on Burnett, torn between her admiration for Davis and the practical realities of television production. While she longed to share the spotlight with the iconic actress, Burnett understood the delicate balance of budgetary constraints and artistic aspirations. Despite Davis's willingness to appear, the elusive guest spot remained out of reach, leaving Burnett with a bittersweet regret. However, despite the disappointment, she wasn't deterred. She succeeded in building a legacy of unparalleled talent, boundless charisma, and unwavering commitment to entertaining audiences around the world. The truth behind the infamous ear tug. People who watched Carol Burnett's performances, especially the original sketch, The Family, and its spin-off Mama's Family, witnessed just how unique the actress was. While other comedians were busy copying themselves, Carol stood out through her originality. She would open most of her shows with impromptu Q&A sessions. She created what she named her signature Tarzan yell, and she also caught the attention of fans through her signature ear tug.
Comes the time we have to say so long. Good night. Thank you.
The actress would usually do this signature ear tug by tugging her left ear at the end of each show, but no one understood why. For a while, people wondered the meaning behind the ear tug. She would later open up to say that the ear tug wasn't just another invention, it was her way of sending a message to someone she loved, her grandmother. Carol spent most of her life with her grandmother. She loved her grandmother very much and had a strong bond with her. When her life got busy, she knew that she had to find a way to keep communicating with her grandmother, even when she was on her shows. So she devised the signature ear tug to pass a message to her grandmother. It was her way of telling her grandmother that she was doing well and that she loved her very much. Whenever her grandmother saw her on TV, the ear tug gave her peace, and she knew then and there that her granddaughter was okay. Sadly, during the show's run, her grandmother fell ill and eventually passed away. Carol would later speak on her death, expressing how she spent her last moments in the hospital with Burnett's husband, Joe. After she passed, Carol kept on doing the signature ear tug until the show came to an end in the late 1970s.